Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where you are and what time of day it is when you watch this video. My name is Z, and welcome back to my gaming corner for the beginning of a video series I started right before my channel got deleted, and I never got to finish it, so we're going to start over, and I'm going to play my most favorite game of all time. And it's my most favorite Final Fantasy of all time. And I've played all the Final Fantasies, with the exception of 7, OG 7 from 1997. But the remake and rebirth is just phenomenal. But Final Fantasy X has always resonated with me in a way that no other Final Fantasy has resonated with me. Like, yes, I love playing as Cloud in 7 Remake and 7 Rebirth. But what happened to Tidus, his story, and the world he goes to and helps save has parallel real-world implications if you come from a Judeo-Christian background and understand the world as it really is, as the prophets of old, from the Old Testament to the New Testament, have said time and time again. We are not fighting against kingdoms or nations. We are fighting against powers and principalities and ideologies, pernicious ideologies, and we are fighting a spiritual war for our eternal survival. And in the book of Revelation, in the Bible, it talks about the Antichrist who is going to come to the earth, and he is going to show great signs and great wonders. And if the days are not shortened, all flesh, everything, all of creation, all of us, all the souls of all the children of men on the earth today would fall for this guy. He would claim that he is the Christ. He would show great signs and wonders, but he would rule with oppression and with much terror. How many people, if they saw, like in reality, like if someone with the kind of power that could snap his fingers and create anything he wanted out of thin air or by thought or whatever, and it would automatically become real. Like if he said, oh, you're going to be struck down by a dragon, and he snaps his finger and a dragon appears in the sky and fries the person, like breathes fire on him, and they just turn to ash. Yeah. How many people would bend the knee and worship this individual if he showed great signs and wonders like that? Well, this is the world we're going into. And I truly believe that there is a God in heaven who loves all of us. And he has used his power through the Holy Spirit to impress upon the minds of the developers at Square Enix and even at Blizzard and at Bungie and at From Software, and he has told them and given them the inspiration of maybe we should make our game in this manner. And whether they know it or not, many of the stories in the games we play can have implications for the real world. Like the games we play might be scenarios of what would happen if Like some government took over, we have to go rescue the planet. That's what happens in Call of Duty. Is it's governments are going to war with each other because they want to take over the world. And so I've been playing through my games with that kind of a view set, and I've had some interesting thoughts about the nature of this world and why things are happening, why Russia is trying to take control of Ukraine and rebuild the USSR. Why is China being so provocative with the US by siding with North Korea? And North Korea is being provocative by launching missiles into the sea, and there is a giant war going on in the South Pacific with the Pacific Fleet, and they're doing battle with Iranian pirates and Houthis and all sorts of different groups that are there in like the Red Sea, the Straits of Hormuz, and the Southern Indian Ocean, and the South Pacific. And in this game, you are going to see a religion where those who have spent their lives training in this religion can actually summon entities and perform great, amazing feats of magic. And they have the ability to send people's souls in a visible kind of way, like a visible show that, yes, there's a spirit leaving the body, and actually show that happening and show them going into the far plane and being at peace. And these people have the ability to do that. How many people would bend the knee and swear allegiance to and live by the precepts of the one who created this religion, or the one who had so much power that they didn't want to end up on the wrong end of that? You know what I mean? Like, if you see someone who has godlike powers, do you really want to be their enemy? I don't think so. Because you know they could just snap their fingers and you would be turned to dust. Because they don't accept rebellion, they don't accept anything. I mean, that's the mindset of people. If they met someone with that kind of power, you do not want to cross them. So they would bend the knee and they would worship this person because they don't want anything to happen to them. And this religion does that. The summoners summon great entities to do battle. And as we go through this game, yes, it's a Final Fantasy game, but here's how this project is going to play out. I'm going to speak to you and tell you about myself, because you should know what I've gone through and why I think the way I do, and why I commentary on my games the way I commentary. And we're going to parallel this story, which has resonated with me for most of my life. I first played Final Fantasy X when it came out in 2002. I was 18 at the time. Tidus is 17. Yuna's 18. It says that in the Ultimania for Final Fantasy X. Or no, Tidus is 18 and Yuna's 17. I forgot. It gets that way. Tidus is 18, Yuna's 17. And I was 18 at the time. So me and Tidus were the same age when I first played this game. And to see what he has gone through, what he experiences helping Yuna on her quest to redeem the planet, and what ultimately happens to him, has parallels in my own personal life. So as we play through this game, I'm going to tell you about myself as much as I can. And we're going to explore this world, which is my favorite game, and It is the most amazing story. It is a kaiju story, meaning there's going to be a big giant monster we have to take care of. It's a classic kaiju story out of Japanese culture. Stories like Godzilla or Mothman or King Kong. Big, giant, horrible monsters that are just destroying cities, causing all kinds of mayhem, killing all sorts of people. Yeah, that's straight out of Japanese culture, and a hero appears on the scene to vanquish said monster. In this game, those heroes are summoners that can summon great entities that can do massive, powerful attacks. And in this game, you will find that while Yuna herself is the weakest character in your party, she can do the most damage by summoning her Aeons and letting her Aeons battle for her, because they are godlike entities and they have godlike power. And if you play this game in the way that I am going to show you, because when we're done with this playthrough, you will have done everything in this game to get the Platinum Trophy. And that includes completely filling out the sphere grid and collecting everyone's celestial weapon, including Waka's, which means we're going to be playing Blitzball. And let me tell you, Blitzball is my most favorite minigame in all of Final Fantasy. More so than Queen's Blood, more so than Tetramaster, more so than any of the other mini-games, like Whack-A-Box from 7 Remake. I love Blitzball. And there is a cool thing that happens in this game when you win your very first Blitzball match against the Luca Goers. If you win that match, and I'm going to show you how to win that match without fail every time, without issue. I'm going to show you how to do that. You get the trophy, and you see Waka carrying out the trophy to the plaza. It's like, yeah, that was a great tournament. The dialogue is slightly different than if you just skip Blitzball or even don't want to play Blitzball at all in the whole game. And when you have that trophy, you get a bonus to your team's efficiency in all of their stats. So they're more efficient when it comes time to doing spell copies. So you can gain more abilities in Blitzball, like the Tackle Slip or the Jet Shot 2, or if you're trying to get the key abilities so you can then teach your characters most of the other abilities. It makes them more efficient at learning those copies. It makes them 3 times more efficient when it comes to their shooting and their blocking for all the characters on the team. And that's no matter who you have on your team. It's not just for the Besaid Oryx. You can build your team how you want, and I will show you some of the best players that you can get for Blitzball. Anyone who's on your team, because you won your very first Blitzball match, you get an efficiency bonus to the character stats and ability to copy text, which means that your team is going to play better, and we are going to win all of our games. And in the beginning, it's going to be, okay, we got to kind of fight for a little bit, but as soon as we get a few levels, all of a sudden it's going to be like Stockton to Malone and the mailman always delivers in the Utah Jazz, right? So it'll be the center picks up the ball, passes it to Tidus. Tidus does his Jet Shot, which knocks out 2 opponents and adds +10 to his attack. And he just uses that 2-3 times per match, so the matches are 3-0. Okay, we win, but we will become so powerful in Blitzball that the highest game I ever scored against any team, it was the Besaid Oryx versus the Luca Goers, but I had the best players on the team, so I basically was playing with the Albed Sykes and the best keeper in the game, and we were just winning everything. It was our team against the Luca Goers. And while we have to fight and claw, and we might only win the first match against the Luca Goers by 1-0, we had to fight and claw for it. It's really nice to go back, have that rematch with them, totally rain on their parade, and and the highest game I ever scored was 17-0. 17-0. And I wish I had a video of that. It was in the previous project that I worked on before my channel got deleted. It was in that video series, but I lost all my content. And I tried to restore it from what I had on my hard drive, but the files were corrupted. So I basically lost all the videos I made from when I started my channel back in 2014 or 2015. And so for the last 5 years, I have been trying to restore to my channel what was lost. So my WoW guide videos, my Diablo videos. I expanded into new territories because my screen recorder one day just stopped. It decided it didn't want to record WoW anymore. And I tried a whole bunch of other screen recorders, but a lot of them were so complicated to figure out. It's like, you know what? I can't record WoW, but I still want to bring you guys cool games. So I brought you Jedi Fallen Order. I brought you Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played bits of City Skylines for you. I played some Diablo for you. And it was all recorded from my PlayStation or other programs on my computer that I can record with my screen recorder, like Phantasy Star Online. And I've been feeling kind of down in the dumps lately. I mean, I'm my mom's caregiver. And having all this extra responsibility that I never wanted. And the exhausting work of what a caregiver has to do for a cancer patient who has dementia. I have not been feeling myself. I haven't wanted to record videos. I haven't wanted to sometimes even get up in the morning. So I started seeing a therapist, and she helped me understand why what occurred to me when I was a child was still bugging me. And she taught me how to move those memories from the limbic system to long-term memory through a process known as eye movement desensitization and remembrance, or routine, or whatever it is. The initials are EMDR. She introduced me to that and bilateral stimulation, and that was the only thing. I've been to 5 therapists before this one. That was the only thing that actually made me feel better and made me feel more like I used to before all the crap happened. And so I stuck with this therapist for a long, long time. And she helped me make sense of my life and why I had to experience the things I experienced. And why being a caregiver was affecting me so because of my personality and my cognitive processes. She was really, really good. And then she betrayed my trust. And she spoke to individuals who I did not give release of information to, because I had people asking me. I was at the post office, and there was a person there who knew who I was. I had seen them around town, but I didn't know their name. They asked me very sensitive information that I had only spoken to my therapist about. and they asked me if I was okay. I was livid. And I sent her an email and I told her I didn't appreciate it. I told her to resend all ROIs and delete all information that I had given her. And she's like, okay, I will. I'm sorry for betraying your trust. I didn't mean to. It's like, how can you not mean to? So yeah, I've been kind of hurting from betrayal, and my best friend is going through a whole lot, and I haven't been able to talk to my best friend. And Hurricane Helene hit eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina and knocked out a whole bunch of roads and washed away villages and destroyed the communication network. Cell phone towers are down all over that area. There are places that haven't had cell service in months. And my sister is in one of those places. And she has to drive 30 some odd miles to the next town just to have a working cell tower that is only working half the time. I used to talk to my sister every single day from the time I was 14. And not having that resource, that person to talk to, since all of my other friends have passed on into the next life. And they're not here, and I don't have anyone to hang out with or go and see, or even, I really don't have anyone to talk to except my sister. And we used to talk every single day until Hurricane Helene. And now I've talked to her. I've talked to her maybe 4 times since Hurricane Helene hit 2 months ago. So I really haven't had anyone to talk to. Don't have anywhere to go, no one to go see. Have to stay home, take care of my mom. It's lonely. And being lonely is the worst thing, and I would never wish it on anyone. Because we were not made to be alone. And so I honestly have not felt like myself because I've had no connection with anybody else. And so I didn't want to do much of anything. Record videos, talk to you guys, share thoughts and insights with you. I didn't want to even watch movies or even play very many video games. I did a lot of sleeping and a lot of wandering around the house and a lot of just sitting in my room looking through my news feeds or looking at YouTube videos for just any information on anything that's going on, because I was like starved for connection. So it took a long time to find another therapist. I'm talking to another therapist now, and we have figured some things out, and it's working again. So I wanted to put my favorite game on this channel and share with you stories about who I am so you can better understand me. So we're going to play Final Fantasy X. I'm going to show you basically how to get the Platinum Trophy. But since I've already attained the Platinum Trophy, you won't see any trophy pop-ups during this playthrough. We are going to become so powerful that we can one-shot the super boss. You go up to Penance and you do one thing and swoop, he's dead. You just beat the super boss and you get a trophy. We're going to become so powerful that we can do that. We'll be able to one-shot Nemesis, which is the upgraded form of Omega. That is the most powerful super boss underneath the one that was added in the international version and never given to us if we only had the original PlayStation 2 version until we got the HD remaster. If you could beat Nemesis in the original Final Fantasy X, you could one-shot the final boss through the rest of the story and beat the game super easy. I'm going to show you how to do that. And when you complete the sphere grid, you are so powerful. You have to fill in every empty node, unlock every lock, and activate every node for every character. That's a lot of grinding, even with AP up weapons. And I'll show you exactly how to make the best weapons to farm hundreds of billions of AP an hour. So you can complete the sphere grid quickly and easily for all your characters. The grind is, it's a lot, but it's so fun going around, killing monsters, having random in battles, getting certain drops to customize your weapons, customize your armor so you can go to the hardest dungeon in the game through the item customization option and just plow through, no problems, don't have to deal with any of the icky status effects that one-shot you normally, and you can just get through the place. Get the best loot, get the best everything in the game. You also get Kamari's best Ronso attack. It's called Nova, which is his most powerful Ronso ability. It drops things you need to upgrade your celestial weapons. So it is beneficial that you go there, especially if you're trying to get the last 2 pages of the Albed dictionary so you can understand what Albed is. I'm going to show you how to complete the entire game, because this game is so amazing. So let's start a new game, and we're going to play through the opening credits and the opening scene that is part of the opening movie that plays right after the credits. So here we go. Now, for this playthrough, we're going to use the original sphere grid. You have a choice right here whether to use the standard sphere grid or the expert sphere grid. The expert sphere grid is set up differently than the original. The original one is more like something you would see in Path of Exile, because the developers of Path of Exile had said that they used the sphere grid as their main inspiration on how to create their path to upgrade your characters. In the skill tree, it is massively huge. The expert grid has fewer nodes. All your characters begin in the middle of the sphere grid, and they can go in any path they want. You can turn Orin into your main healer. You can turn Yuna into the most powerful black mage in the entire game and a summoner. You could make Riku hit like a semi-truck. You can make some really cool, interesting builds and really change up your playstyle. Sorry, I had to drink some water there. The standard sphere grid has more nodes, more places to fill in strength up, intellect up, to max out all of our characters so they have 255 in all of their stats. You can't attain those levels on the expert sphere grid because they have fewer nodes, so you've got to prioritize how you want to build each character. With the standard sphere grid, it's going to be the way it was when I first played this game, and that's how I want to share it with you. This is how I remember playing it. So we are going to use the standard sphere grid, and we cannot switch this. So you get that choice right there. You have to make one or the other. Right there. You can't change it unless you want to start a new game. So we're also going to use the original soundtrack, because there's just something about the way that I felt when I first heard this game's soundtrack and fell in love with Nobuo Uematsu's work and got everything I could find that he had ever created. So we're going to listen to the original audio because it is that moving, it is that good, and it's going to be amazing.
Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
Wow, right? You have this group of tight-knit friends that have grown together and have come to appreciate each other, sitting around a campfire at the end of their journey. And Tidus wants to tell about this journey. And let me tell you, the cinematics in this game are incredible. So, this is Tidus's story. But as we will soon find out, it is vastly much more than just his journey. Much more than that. But it begins with him telling us how he got to this place.
Can you sign this?
No prob.
So talk to that boy and say, like, can you sign this? And this is where you get to name your character. Now, as you heard, there is voice acting in Final Fantasy X. In the original release, it was the first game to use voice acting on this scale. Everything in this game has a voice actor. All the NPCs, all of the characters, everybody, the shopkeepers, the people in town, the Guado you talk to, everybody has a voice actor. And it is marvelous. But they never say Tidus's name, not once, in this entire game. So the developers allowed us to change his name if we want to. I'm not going to, because his name is Tidus. And before you send me all of these hate comments saying, no, it should be Tidus, because James Arnold Taylor has said it's Tidus. Miss Hetty, who voiced Yuna, called it Tidus. In alternate story media put out by Square Enix in a sequel movie that's on YouTube. It's also with this collector's edition. And they are using that as evidence that it should be Tidus. When people from a Japanese culture pronounce I's in that part of a name, they pronounce it as a long E. And the people who were recording these English voices had direction from Square Enix, which is a Japanese company, using the Japanese culture and the Japanese language of pronouncing these vowels as long E's instead of I, told them to pronounce it as Tidus, and so they followed the direction of Square Enix. In the English language, though, we do not pronounce I's in that manner. Phonetically, it is not correct in English. But when you have a Japanese context to it, it is, because they speak a different language. In the English language, it is phonetically correct because the letter D and the letter T in Old English are interchangeable because of a letter of the alphabet we don't use anymore, namely thorn. You've seen it as crossed D's, you've seen it as stylized T's, which look like Y's. Especially when you go to England, you'll see signs that say ye old pub. No, that Y is actually thorn, and it's the old pub or the old pub. So they're interchangeable. And T-I-T-U-S, Titus, is sounded with a long I. It's spelled T-I-T-U-S, just like Titus, but the D and the T are interchangeable. So his name is Tidus. That's how I'm going to refer to him. And just know that that's how I was brought up phonetically in English. So we're going to keep his name as Tidus. And he's going to, as soon as I can get into the...
Take it easy.
As soon as I get into the settings, I'm going to turn off the subtitles. Because for me, they're just a bit too distracting for what I care to experience in this game. If I press triangle, yeah, I can't access menu yet. So we got to talk to these girls.
Can I have your autograph?
Of course.
Good luck,
Nothing to worry about. Oh, if I score a goal, I'll, do this. That will mean it was for you, okay? What seat?
Ace block in the front row! Fifth from the right!
Got it. Well, gotta go. Cheer for me.
2, 3... Teach us how to blitz!
Hey, I got a game to play.
Then teach us after.
Maybe tonight, well,
You can't tonight.
I mean tomorrow.
Promise?
Promise.
I was in a coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, Jecht, gone, vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself, what are you thinking? I went running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jecht all night. My dad and I never talked so much. Whoa, didn't mean to reminisce, folks. Anyway, 10 years later, the Jecht Memorial Cup tournament is today. The two teams that have won through to the finals are, of course, the Abes from A East and the Duggles from C South. I know there's a lot of people out there today to see the star of the Abes. In just 1 year, he's become the team's #1 player. He's Jecht's blood and the new hope of Blitzball. What kind of super play will he show us today? Will we see his father's legendary shot? I don't think I'm the only one excited here, folks.
So, Tidus is the star player of the Zanarkand Abes. Blitzball is his blood. He has done it his entire life. It's like kids that are exceptionally good, like in the NBA, fell in love with the sport when they were kids, and it became a part of their life. Talk to anyone in the NBA, and they will tell you the exact same thing, that they fell in love with basketball, and they made it a major part of their life because they loved it so much. I promise you they'll say it. So he is the star player of the Blitzball. Blitzball is his blood, which is why all those people who just complain that they flippin' hate Blitzball, that it's the worst minigame ever created, you have to play it with skill, and you have to be tactical about it until you can become powerful enough to just steamroll over any game and just plow everyone under your boot. Just stomp all over them without even trying. We will become that powerful. To where Blitzball is just, you know what? Haha, I beat you by 16-1. Haha. I love Blitzball, so we're going to do it. And this game begins with the most epic cinematic I have ever seen in any Final Fantasy game. The storytelling of this game is out of this world. And it's because they use these kind of cinematics to tell their story.
Make way, make way! Coming through, sorry. Hey, I'm gonna be late. Hey, let go of me.
He's got to get to his match, but he is famous. And because he is the star player of the Blitzball Abe, or the Zanarkand Abes. He plays Blitzball, and I love it. But these are the cinematics I've been telling you about. All I have to say is, wow. Right? Wasn't that incredible? You get to see a HD video of what Blitzball looks like. Isn't that so flippin' cool? He flies up into the air, turns upside down, he's gonna make his shot, and then Sin attacks the city. And Tidus, who has only known Blitzball his entire life, is suddenly thrust into a scenario that he has no experience in dealing with. He's lived a mostly peaceful life in Zanarkand, and now his home is being torn apart, and it's being destroyed right in front of him. What the crap am I supposed to do? But that is how this game begins. His group of friends that he is going to meet and the journey they're going to go on get to the ending of their journey. And Tidus, touching the person he loves Yuna, goes up to the bluff to look at Zanarkand because he can't believe what is happening to his home. and he had some revelations about who he is on his journey, and he wants to make sure that his story is known. Let me ask you a very personal question. If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you were going to die, let's say you receive a cancer diagnosis and the doctor says you have 6-7 months to live. In those 6 or 7 months, do you not think you would want your story to be known? Don't you think it would be prudent so you would have a record of who you were to pass down to your children and to your posterity? How many people would do that? A lot, right? Tidus is in this situation. He knows information that would damage all relationships if he shared it, so he has decided to keep it a secret. But he is in this situation. He knows that he will not be in Yuna's life anymore, and he wanted to make sure that his story was recorded and remembered. That's what Final Fantasy X is. But as you will see, Tidus is going to get caught up in events that have massive implications to the real world that we live in currently. And we're going to get into it. Because Spira suffers from a false religion. How many false religions are on planet Earth? How many pernicious ideologies are in our societies telling us that God is not real, that God doesn't exist, denying our own divinity as children of a loving Heavenly Father who are here on planet Earth for a human experience because we are spiritual citizens of the Most High Kingdom of our God in heaven. And how many people don't even know that God is God? And how many false teachings are there out there? There's a lot, right? And we have to be very careful who we talk to and who we listen to and who we allow into our life to make sure that they are true and good and right, and not someone just pretending to be so. And when I understood that, and I understood a little bit more about what's going on in the world, Final Fantasy X is just like, oh my gosh, it has parallels. And we're going to get into it. But that's going to be for our next episode. So if you enjoyed this, please feel free to give me a thumbs up, rate me a like. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you always know when new content comes out. Also, please tell your friends about me so they can come and they can enjoy these videos and enjoy the adventures just as much as you do. Finally, and most important of all, please remember this. Final Fantasy X is just a game. And games are meant to be fun, and you are supposed to have fun while you're playing them. So if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And I'm going to show you my version of what right is in this playthrough of Final Fantasy X, so you can be as powerful as you want to be. So I look forward to bringing you these journeys that we're going to go on. I can't wait to share this with you. But that's for future episodes. Until then, I'm Z, signing off.